It's in my court. Can Chicago pick you back up?
Court said no.
Oh my god.
Let's talk about Chicago, but not like basketball. Did you like being in Chicago?
Honestly, no. And I say that only because they had us in Northbrook, which Northbrook is cool, but it's just like all the way in left field. We was practicing in like a YMCA. So like every time we would go into the gym, bro, it'd be like mad old people walking around the track. Like our lockers was in the white, so like we would walk, like they had our lockers all the way in the back. So like we would have to walk through like regular people in the gym and shit. Yes, bro. Like our lockers would be right here and
You're
like,
lying. So Tribal Center?
Worse.
Worse?
Bro, at least in Tribal Center we had our own little area, our own little locker space, right?
Yeah.
In Chicago, it's a YMCA.
It says YMCA on the building.
It don't. I don't know what it say, but it got. Like it's one of those. You know where they got the basketball courts, the track, the weight room. Up top, they got the weight room. They got the tennis courts. They got the pickleball.
The little racquetball with the glass.
Yes. So you walk up. You gotta walk up the stairs to the locker room. They had us in the back. You got the showers. You got the other lockers. It would be regular people. They got the tennis courts. They got the pickleball.
The little racquetball with the glass.
Yes. So you walk up. You gotta walk up the stairs to the locker room. They had us in the back. You got the showers. You got the other lockers. It would be regular people at their lockers. We gotta walk by. Yeah, the rec center. That's exactly what it was. I couldn't think of it. That's all I'm saying. The YMCA. It was at the rec center. So then you have to walk to the back, and then all our lockers was amongst the lockers in the back. But literally, mind you, you know how butt naked we be in there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, I'm butt naked in front of randoms just walking to, because our lockers is right here, bro. So to even get to the showers, you gotta walk by random people because they could be at their lockers. I mean, we're all girls.
But it's just
yeah, that's what was going on. That's what was going on, bro. And we got to drive from Northbrook
all
to
the way
exactly.
And stay in the hotel.
No.
They didn't let you stay in the hotel?
It wasn't. They didn't just give you the hotel and give you an option. So they gave you day rooms, so you couldn't even stay the night.
What? So you can take a nap.
Even when you say it out loud, this shit sounds crazy as hell. Yes.
Just take a nap.
So like after a shoot around, for example, like say if it just depends because they actually set it up like so. The year before I got there, I guess they was having their shoot arounds at the actual gym, but then the year I played for them, they was having their shoot arounds in Northbrook, so we didn't have to use the day room.
Center.
Exactly. So we didn't have to go all the way there and then have to use the day rooms to stay and then boom, boom, boom. So what we did was we was just having all the shoot arounds at the rec. Imagine a 7 p.m. game, right?
You're not getting on until 11.
Exactly. But then getting home, they'll be like, oh, there ain't no traffic. It's only like a 30-minute drive. But I'm like, bro, okay, even if we do got to do all of that, bro, we should have the option to be able to stay in the hotel that's right across the street, bro. If we tired from a game, and I'm exhausted and I want to do my recovery, or even if I want to just go hang out in downtown Chicago, why don't y'all have me a room, bro? I gotta drop. I gotta decide whether I want to hang out or if I want to go home, or if I, you know.
And
what I'm
even
saying?
if you do hang out, then you gotta go home.
And then
and
then if I want to hang out, I gotta pay for my hotel room. Do the math. So don't nobody else in the chat ask me if I will ever go back to Chicago. It's over with. It's over with. Until we see the news drop that they get a practice facility and woo, I would never go back.
Guys, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Geneva. This is Geneva in General. And I decided to make me yet another video. Let me record right quick before my mom comes back home, ultimately with the gremlins, aka my nieces and nephew. And guys, please forgive me. Her kitchen, my mom's kitchen, is all the way like in that next room, but I got dinner on the stove. I got potatoes boiling to mash up for the shepherd's pie. Hopefully it ain't burning. But guys, I had to come up on here because first of all, shout out to Courtney Williams. Shout out to Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidemann, guys. They are so funny and entertaining. They just keep it so real. Okay, they are just so entertaining to watch. I had no choice but to download the Twitch app. I didn't even know what Twitch was. Like, I heard about it. I thought Twitch was like mainly for gamers and stuff, but I guess like you can have podcasts and like little shows such as StudBudz. Okay, it's literally called StudBudz. Okay, from none other. Okay, it's been brought to us by none other than Courtney Williams and her little, sidekick partner. Okay, I love her down. Natisha Heidemann, aka Teaspoon of the Minnesota Lynx. Okay, they have their own podcast / show, if you will, on Twitch called StudBudz. Okay, I have followed them because they are hilarious, and I encourage you all to follow them as well. So I've been seeing a lot of clips go viral from their StudBudz show and their Twitch stream. Rather, it's a stream, right? A lot of their clips go viral on, social media, specifically TikTok, that I like to utilize. So I'm going to insert the full video of Courtney Williams explaining why she will never go back to being a player for the Chicago Sky, okay? Hopefully I won't get hit with a copyright strike, but if I do, I took some notes, okay, in my little journal, to explain to you guys just why Courtney Williams, along with a lot of players, okay, even though it's getting better, but I want to just make this video to bring awareness as to what Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, and the rest of our skyscrapers may have been dealing with, and they could possibly still be dealing with being a player on the Chicago Sky. So in this episode of StudBudz, Natisha Heidemann asked her friend Courtney Williams. She said, would you? She's like, first of all, how did you like it down there when you were playing for the Chicago Sky? Like, would you ever go back? First of all, Courtney Williams, I believe last season or 2 seasons ago, I think it was last season. Yeah, it was just this past 2024 WNBA season. She was doing some interviews, okay, because like the Minnesota Lynx, they had advanced to the semifinals or finals, up against the New York Liberty. And she was like, I just love my team so much. I love Cheryl Reeves. She's an amazing coach. And again, this is true. Cheryl Reeves is an amazing coach. She's been voted that multiple times in the WNBA. Top coach, period, right? And in that interview, Courtney Williams is like, she described Chicago. She said, when I was playing for the Chicago Sky, she said, man, Chicago is the trenches. She said, it's literally the trenches. And I'm like, a lot of people are like, what is it about this damn team? Excuse my language. That so many women just refuse. They have very negative opinions. They have very strong opinions about being a player for the Chicago Sky. They're refusing to come back to the Chicago Sky, even though Angel Reese has tried her best to recruit so many different women to come back, such as Gabby Williams, Kalia Copper, Sylvia Fowles left. Now we have Courtney Williams calling, 1, Chicago Sky last season the trenches, and then 2, in this current 2025 WNBA season on her her stream on Twitch called StudBudz, alongside Natisha Heidemann, she said, I would never go back to the Chicago Sky. In short, the Chicago Sky is a freaking poverty franchise. And of course, no brainer, we all know this. But let's just talk about a little bit, decipher what she said in that video. So since Courtney did not like being a player for the Chicago Sky, why? So they had she first in the video, she kept calling it a YMCA. And then, I just said in my note /rec center, because later on in the video, she's like, it's actually a rec center, right? And they would have to practice at this YMCA /rec center all the way in Northbrook, okay? A part of Chicago. It's like a Chicago suburbs, like right outside the city. So they would have to travel, just to go to the facilities to practice, right? And she's like, in this facility, okay, you're sharing lockers, okay? The players are sharing locker rooms with old people, okay? This is what she said. I don't think she meant it like when she said regular people and old people. When she says regular people, meaning like not other professional athletes, i.e. regular people. That's just what it is, okay? You're sharing locker rooms with old people, okay? The elderly and freaking, regular Joe Schmoes at this YMCA /rec center, okay? First of all, that's player safety, okay? Safety. These are professional athletes. They have a lot of haters. A lot of them have, people who wish to do them harm. Look at the emails that Dejanay Carrington, for the last season, she released to the public. That was a filthy, disgusting email. A man threatened to R-word her and slice her head off. Okay, now you got these women. Okay, imagine if I'm like an Angel Reese hater. I know where her team practices. I know that they share a locker room and space with me. What if I try to do her harm? Right, I don't wish this on anybody. I don't wish no bad on her or any players. It don't matter. Nobody should have to deal with that as a professional. Okay, remember that word professional becomes before the word athlete. You're sharing a space with just regular people who could mean you no well. They don't mean you any good. They intend to do harm to you. What if they're recording conversations, recording people nude? Again, you're naked. She even said that. She's like, one of those locker rooms were nude. Okay, obviously these are women. They want to probably, shower and freshen up both before and after games. Pre-games and post-games, you want to take a shower. Make sure you're smelling good right while you're on the court. You're literally nude, surrounded by, regular schmegler people. old people, old people that you don't know. You don't know if these people could do you harm, if they're a fan of yours, if they try to attack you, they're trying to leak information. You don't know these people. And it's like, again, that's a huge safety concern. Absolutely unacceptable. The Chicago Sky, I understand that our facilities is now on its way. Should have been on its way years ago. But it's like to have these women, like, y'all can't rent out the YMCA for certain hours, peak hours, around peak hours. That's just like, this space is just exclusively for our Chicago Sky members. Like, do better. Of course, again, like, so I'll reiterate, she said that these players are naked in front of strangers that they have to walk by. Okay, they had day rooms. Okay, so they couldn't even spend the night. Okay, you can't spend the night. You can't even get comfortable. At this point, these women are damn near homeless at the Chicago Sky. Okay, they're borderline homeless. So she gives a scenario, like, say that you have a 7 p.m. game. Okay, games are around 2 hours long. So from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., right, after that, you do media, post-game interviews, etc., you shower. You're not getting home until like 11. Again, you're in Northbrook, Chicago. That could be like, what, a 40, 45-minute drive, say an hour plus, depending on the traffic, depending on the day, that you have to go all the way back to your home. Or you have to, like, just make the choice to, like, just hang around. You got to stay there. You're pretty much homeless. This is, like, honestly, guys, this is infuriating. So there's no hotel near the facility. She's like, we don't even have the option to walk across the street to go to a hotel. And she also mentioned this. If you want a hotel, you have to pay for it with using your own money. And guys, Courtney Williams concluded that video talking about how she would never go back to the Chicago Sky unless they get a practice facility, which we do have on the way. All in all, it just saddens me that this is how we treat these women. These are professional athletes. It's unacceptable. It's a huge safety concern and issue. Now, thankfully, things are getting better, okay? And we have to give a lot of the credit, let's be real, to Angel Reese. Angel Reese, I believe Haley Van Lith had posted on their stories, or somewhere they had posted online some days ago. They actually had good meals, okay? So the Chicago Sky are actually now offering the players, like, meals before the game, like good meals. Like, they got shrimp, lobster, steak. It looked like it was a good, healthy plate, okay? Thankfully. But the fact that it took them this long, okay, in order for them to, somewhat get it together, they obtained a huge star player, none other than Angel Reese, and now, we're getting a practice facility. They're getting good, healthy meals before games. But it's like the fact that Courtney Williams was pretty much, like she said, literally in that video, that they were pretty much like homeless. Like, you're homeless as a player when you play for the Chicago Sky. The Las Vegas Aces ain't got to deal with this. The Phoenix Mercury ain't got to deal with this. The New York Liberty ain't got to deal with this. They're the richest team in the league. The New York Liberty, guys, as it stands today, currently at the sound of my voice, the New York Liberty alone as that one team in the WNBA is worth $450 million. It is the most lucrative. It is it's the richest. It is the wealthiest professional women's league, I believe, in the world. And again, it's that inequality. It's not fair. Imagine trying to win a championship. This is what makes Chicago Sky just so powerful. In 2021, okay, we're not powerful right now, let's be real, but back in 2021, they won the championship. They had to deal with all this. They didn't have meals. Kalia Copper said it. Candace Owens. I'm sorry, not Candace Owens. Lord have mercy, not her. Candace Parker, guys. Sorry, rather. Candace Parker talked about how difficult it was. She said when I got to LA, I almost cried. I had my own locker. These women are sharing lockers and locker rooms with old people and like just the regular Joe Schmo. That's a safety hazard. Absolutely not. These women have a target on their back. They have enemies. They have people who are watching them, stalking them. Paige Beckers has stalkers. Caitlin Clark has stalkers. I'm sure if any other people, they have their own, very private security details. They're not playing. But for the Chicago Sky to treat these women like this, and other teams, I'm sure the Dallas Wings got it just now getting together. LA Sparks, I believe the Seattle Storm have their own, type of player facility for the women to practice in. They don't have to share a locker. They don't have to be nude around strangers who could be recording them, taking photos of them, violating their privacy. Again, this saddens and also enrages me. I'm just infuriated that this has been going on in women's professional basketball. The WNBA as a league as a whole need to get it together. This is simply unacceptable. And again, I don't like the inequality. All teams should be equal. I don't care that the New York Liberty has made this much money so they get no. They all need to be, playing on an even playing field because, again, it just shows that grit. Imagine in 2021, the Chicago Sky, they won the championship. They didn't even have their own practice facilities. They didn't have no food being prepared for them before games. They literally went out there and got that championship, that trophy, that title off of just pure grit, pure ambition, pure strength, power, willpower, etc., etc. Because, again, we just don't have the resources. Specifically then, we're just now starting to somewhat get it together. We're starting to get there. But back then, we didn't have the resources. We didn't have the tools. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the funding to really compete at a high level. And we still got the job done. That gives me some hope that we can possibly get it done again. Again, the Chicago Sky is a poverty franchise, and it sickens me. They need to do better as a team. And again, like I had did my research, the current owner, the majority owner right now, is a Chicago native by the name of Michael Alter. He's like a multimillionaire. I think he's worth like $600 million. He is primarily the largest owner of the Chicago Sky, so to speak, right? He owns like a large real estate group called Alter Realties and stuff. He is, again, like, he needs to be forced to sell and sell it to somebody who's competent and actually cares about these women, care about their brand, care about their well-being, their personal situations, and actually offer them hotel rooms, something, meals, somewhere to live, a practice facility that's just exclusively for them, etc., etc. And again, I know our facility is on its way, but again, like, this is just absolutely asinine. It's ridiculous that Courtney Williams had that experience being a Chicago Sky. And again, like she said, I agree with her. Chicago Sky is the trenches.